Hello, my friends. This is Peter Palmiotti of THEE100s Studio, and this is my day 95 of my 100 days of working on my anthology story. And newsflash for those that don't know. Oh, there goes my video. If I can capture it. All right, shush. Shush me. You're past me. I'm present me. Okay, so for anybody watching this live, feel free to comment. I'll be checking in on you shortly. So yeah, do it again and again and again is the title of this episode. So while I start my 30 minutes for today, I had an excellent hangout last evening. Well, this morning. With Jeff Lafferty, and yeah, always an amazing time with him, and talked about a wide range of things. And a lot of it was about making comics and working on our own personal projects rather than client work or whatnot. And how easily we get off track. And I know, like, well, I'm happy the way this my story for the anthology is turning out. You know, as an artist, and any artist will tell you, it's like, I could do better. I could do better, but it doesn't matter. It's like whatever you can do in the moment is it's like I don't feel like I'm cutting corners per se. I'm giving it my best, and I have certain criteria I'm following as far as the look of it and what I'm putting into it, and when it comes down to it, I was actually thinking about this earlier. If you held up a stack of my inked pages, throughout my career, since I've mostly been an inker, it would be pretty huge. And if you held up a stack of my pencil and ink pages, my own personal work, it would be kind of small. Sure, I've been drawing all my life. Sure, I've done my own work and commissions and what have you. But it's like doing an illustration is way different than doing a comic page. And I remember, like, probably, and maybe I'll make a video about this alone, but probably my first comic work that I remember diving into, and I don't have those pages anymore. I remember just chalking them. It was like, oh, this was a useful experience, but I don't like it. I'm not keeping these. But the first comic I did was, I was a fan of Conan growing up, especially like between Barry Smith and Savage Sword of Conan, the black and white magazine, which a lot of that was definitely inspiration to me wanting to ink. Had so many amazing artists and inkers on that book. Barry Smith was one, John Buscema, Ernie Chan, Rudy Nebris. Oh my God, Rudy Nebris. His amazing pencil work and inking work. Fredo Okawa. So many. And so I was definitely like, it's like I love the magazine. I love the work. I don't think that anything barbarian was at the top of my pull list. But for whatever reason, I thought it would be fun to do a barbarian story. And like I said, I'll probably single this out for a video. But just to mention, come on, light, get over here. Yeah, so my idea was to do a barbarian comic with the character names of rock and roll. Because growing up in my generation, rock was dominant, and I figured somehow I make it work in as character names, and I might have done a dozen pages of it, and where I fail is like I know I'm like kind of doing the same thing here. Like I'm trying to overdo my work to the extent that I I I find the balance within the work. And yeah, those pages were, much like this, sparsely penciled, but heavily inked, and I didn't dare show them to anybody else. I don't think I ever did. But to a certain extent, I was happy to have achieved that much, and that was my first comic attempt. And now doing this, it's like I know like sort of the next comic project that I'm going to do, and I mentioned it before within these 100 days is like I got this book Arena that I'm going to publish. I don't want it to be the first book I publish, but it might be the second. But Arena is, it's only, I believe it's 20 pages. So, not to add filler, I was thinking I'll do a backup story and it will be like, it might just be the first published work of me writing, penciling, and inking a story. If my timing is right, because I don't think the THEE100s Book 2 will be out before I get a chance and money and everything else to release it, Arena. So yeah, it's like me and Jeff were talking about Berserkerna and retro and how we should just do our own personal passion projects and just that's how we'll get better. So I mentioned that the artist of issue 1 won't be on board for the series, unfortunately, and I'll probably be taking the reins. Well, I'm definitely going to be taking the reins, and I do want to take some art courses and get better, yada yada. But it's like really when it comes down to it, if you want to be a great comic book artist, then hey, do what Jack Kirby did. Do it over and over and over again. Then that's how you'll get better. And there's no shame in imperfect pages. I mean, that's definitely the charm, And I'll be discussing a lot of older influences and comic books I grew up on, coming up on this channel. But one example is like Nexus. Like I picked up the very first issue of Nexus, and it was black and white. I didn't know this artist, Steve Rude. I heard of Mike Barron, the writer, creator. Well, they're both co-creators. But man, I just loved that first issue of Nexus and all its imperfections. Which, it was ahead of so many other books as far as quality of just like an independent comic. But it wasn't, it wasn't as good as his later issues and work. And so, with Retro, issue 2 might be a little bit of a letdown after Rich's fantastic work. But it will be possibly my first full-fledged pencils and inks on a book. And yeah, it's like I am committing to that. It's like anything. It just takes practice, and it's like, you only I personally only want to fuss with work for so long, and it's kind of a balance. It's like, it's ready to put it out into the world. It's like, yeah, maybe I could have fussed with certain things a little bit longer, and it would have looked a little bit sharper, or used a little more reference, and it would have been a little more accurate. um, but it's like it's good as a person, as an individual in this world, to have sort of a sense of yourself, to do good unto others as they do good unto you, and to be a positive influence to other people in this world, and not just trash talk, or add to all the bad vibes going on in the world and whatnot. But like, as an artist, I wanna do the best work, but also like, make a deadline, and move on to what's next. So yeah, it's like every a day doesn't pass where I don't have a new idea of something I want to do. But you gotta pull back a little, because I don't know any comic book writer or artist that doesn't also have a million ideas and projects they want to do. But the joy for me was always seeing a creator's growth, over 3 issues or 10 issues or 50 issues. Just like, imagine watching, well, example is like watching Carl Grimes on Walking Dead go from a little boy on the show to essentially a teenage man. Um, and it's the same thing with comics. It's like I love to watch an artist's growth within the pages of the comic, and even the writer's growth and all of that. How certain teams pull together more and more cohesively as they worked on issue after issue together. And I know, like, if you watched my Aquaman, like reviewing my first issue I inked on Aquaman, it's like, as we went on for issue to issue, it's like you don't have all the time in the world to go over every detail, but you could, the editor picked out certain points for me to be aware of, like, um, as far as the quality of my inks and what to sort of focus the reader's attention on, and everything a little bit helps. And definitely Jim Calfuri and me not only reviewed his pencils before I started inking them, but definitely after we not only looked over my inking work on it, but then we looked over the comic when it was published and said, well, yeah, the colors completely covered this panel up and changed the entire focus. And, it's like little things that, because you're going at such a speed, it it doesn't seem like it, because, it takes a penciler, 3 to 4 weeks to pencil a book. It takes an inker the same. Doesn't feel like you're going fast, but you're also trying to live life. You're trying to, you got to eat, you got to sleep. There's other things you got to do. And so, yeah, so I want to do a lot more comic book pages, and yeah, I could focus all my energy onto just working on retro pages. And part of me wants to do that, and part of me says that, hey, you should. But I am going to include other things, but I won't rush into them like maybe I had previously. But it is important to do things over and over and just get better over time. So you got to have a certain amount of patience to being an artist, and also the ability to let something go when it's time, and to always respect where you were when you worked on something and created something, and don't beat yourself up about it. And I know too many artists who beat themselves up about it. And I'm not I'm not one of them. My English. Hey, Ronnie, checking the chat now. See, I'm good. Welcome. So yeah, it was. I love those sort of energizing hangouts. At the very least, hangouts with other artists and writers and whatnot. Make the time go faster. I completely, like, we were going for hours, and when we finished, it was my pretty much AM. So what I did was, like, fell asleep afterwards once I cooled down a little bit, and I woke up only maybe 3 hours later, because I was so many things on my mind. Like, oh, I was so fantastic, and talked about so many things and covered some things about the retro Kickstarter, which I'm still working on piecing together. I think pretty much I'm going to go for a $3,000 goal, which is a reasonable goal. And yeah, we talked a bit about. It's like I don't know what to expect. It's like I know a lot of people said very, very, very kind things. Like they want a copy of it, they want to share it. To me, and I mentioned this kind of before, that it an artist can put together a great book and share it across the internet on different sites and different places, but really a reach of one person only goes so far, and no matter how many followers or friends they're attached to on the different sites, um, the projects that I've seen do extremely well are only because of the fan support. And so, it's like, um, I'm going to start putting together a list, and hopefully it will be semi-full list of people who have said they want to share my project when it's time. They want to pledge to it so I can send them the link when it's live, and it will save me time once I go live. Um, and we'll see if that will work in my favor. Obviously, I'll try to share the link and say, hey, share it out to the world. I've seen plenty of people doing crowdfunding and saying those exact words and get crickets. So we shall see how it all goes. Let's see. Anybody chatting? It's always great talking to people with the same interests, Ronnie says. You always got my support. Oh, thanks, Ronnie. You're on my list. Yeah, it's definitely um, always awesome to do the hangouts and Skype and whatever else we all do within the THEE100s, within the Artcasters, and that's something I want to bring more to my group, creator owned. Which, by the way, I figured out what I want to do for the first video, and I always knew it would be kind of me talking to the camera for some of it. Just stating the obvious as far as I go. Hey, Mario, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thanks for coming to hang out while I work on the Griffin. Yeah, totally lost my thought. Oh yeah, I want to bring it to creator on, like, get some of the people in that group and to do a hangout. Obviously with the channel, be able to do that. I am undecided about many things, as far as bringing another channel to YouTube, about comic people and whatnot, but I don't want to do a ton of videos and they all be crap. I want each one to be good. Um, so yeah, what I thought about for the first video is, yes, I want a portion of it to be um, me talking about creators and just the importance to me and probably a lot of them of being in this group and what we can do as a team, and working together, and um, it's all about support amongst us, and how we can all grow together. It's like, I don't want to be the only guy who you know who's in the lead. It's like, I'm still small. It's like I haven't published anything. I'm still learning how to freaking draw better, and I've got plenty to learn. But I am known because of my work at Marvel, because of my work at DC, because I even got published through Image a couple times. I got I worked for Valiant for a while, and so a lot of people are aware of me and know my name, and it's like I know a lot of people are coming from kind of left field entirely, and I want to raise those people up, because there's a lot of talented folks that nobody is aware of, and that's the whole idea behind the creator-owned channel. Which, if you go to my YouTube channel, just the page itself, I got links on the right, and there's a link to creator-owned channel right there, so you can subscribe if you haven't already. So yeah, I'm almost done. Just wanted to fill in some blacks here, put up a new video. It's day 95. It's almost done, but is it? Is it? No, it isn't, because we got an extension. We got an extension because comic people can't be relied on. No, that's not true. So we actually had to the 17th. So I might carry on with my 100 days if I run over. Since we got a little more wiggle room and I'm juggling a bunch of stuff. I did at least get the Aquaman piece done, and I'm super glad of that. I'm very happy with the way it turned out. Just handed it over to Sammy Flores to give it some color, give it to color 11, and yeah, so it's give a little more time to my retro comic and campaign coming up. Give a little more time to this until I get it done. Then we'll see. We'll see what's next. We'll see. I'm trying to be slightly better about actually fulfilling what I say. And Ronnie says, true that. I'm planning on some things to give more advice in what little I know. It's like, yeah, everybody knows something. And the thing about advice is, like, you don't have to be a master at something. I know what works for me, like listening, watching other YouTubers, and listening to other creators about their process and whatnot. It's like I get like tips from people better than me, definitely, but just people starting out. It's like, this is I'll never say it's hard work. Um, But what's hard is doing it day in and day out. When you're not feeling it, when it's not working out. It's like, if you know me and my channel, I've come into plenty of roadblocks with technical issues and whatnot. But I just powered on, um, and really that's key. I mean, that goes with the title. It's like, you just got to keep doing it again and again and again. And it will work in your favor. Some days will be easier, and some days you'll want to tear your hair out. I'm a prime example. I tore all my hair out. But let's see. Ronnie says that the important thing is to have fun and know people who like the same as us. Bring those people to your channel, make it grow. Yes. Another one of those things that going along those lines of what Ronnie says here is collaborations. I want to do some collaborations. I did when I inked for DC, I pretty much inked one book. I inked Aquaman, and I inked over one artist, Jim Calfury. I did a couple of minor little things here and there for DC, but mostly that was it, unfortunately. But at Marvel, I got to expand my horizons a little bit and work on, ink over some other artists. And I always believed that, by working on other artists, a wider range of artists, that I'm picking up certain skills I wasn't when I was working on Cal Fury, and even all the independent artists I worked on previously before that. I always feel like I kind of learn something from everyone, and so it was an excellent pleasure to work at Marvel and work on such a wide range of such phenomenal artists. Oh, one last thing I wanted to mention is, if you liked that video with me talking about issue 10 of Aquaman, I do plan to do more of that, possibly within these 100 days. Like I inked a book called Razor back in the day, back in the 90s. And that was before my Aquaman work. And while it wasn't as good, I have some things to say on the subject of my work back then and the book itself. And so I figured it would be a fun visit to some earlier work. And actually, now that I'm thinking of it, I should look up if I could find not the very first book I worked on, but the very first full book I worked on, which was a personality comic where I did Bones from Star Trek. It was sort of about his real life as opposed to his Star Trek character. But yeah, I want to visit Razor, and actually, I worked on the Razor annual #1, which kind of introduced She to the world. That's Bill Tucci's comic book character, and so I inked some pages of that, and I discovered, I don't know if I knew this before, but I discovered I didn't get credit for it. But I promise you, it was my work. Anyway, I'll get into that I don't know if I'll do it tomorrow, but sometime soon. So yeah, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Comment below if you're watching this afterwards. I always love to hear what is on people's minds, what you love to see, what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong. Get over here, light. Yeah, I didn't turn on my other big light, so doesn't. I always need more light. Anyway, this is shaping up. Thanks for coming, guys. Definitely appreciate it. Let's see. Mario said the important thing is. Oh wait, did I say it was Ronnie before? Okay, that was Mario. Anyway, you can read the chat as well. That was Mario who said that last thing. Yes. I decided I'm going to pick one of more 100s to do voice acting for next book. Oh, awesome, awesome, awesome. Remember, Ronnie, I could do voices. Thanks, no problem. Collaboration is something I'm thinking about doing, Mario says, because I can't draw right now, and I have almost a story done. I have to find an artist. Cool, cool. Yeah. He says, take care. Well, yeah, take care, everybody. Where's my window? Okay, so this is how it's shaping up. So you can see. Still got some more work, but it's mostly done page. Yeah, things are going well. My channel is expanding. I got new subscribers. I got more subscribers on my other channel, Creator Own Comics. I definitely appreciate both. Yeah, I'm getting serious about this YouTube thing, so watch out. Love y'all. I'll see you again tomorrow. So take care, everyone. Be well and make comics.